Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for tuning to stay with us. Now, the curtain on the 41st Annual National Arts Festival came down this past Sunday in Grahamstown. This arts and culture event has grown in stature over the years, and this year's attendance showed a steady increase, and the standard of productions was also heralded. But what is the future? There is concern about the festival that is outgrowing the settler city. The provincial government also wants more people in the province to benefit economically from the event. Lerato Thipa, our arts reporter, joins us from Port Elizabeth. Lerato, thank you very much for joining us. Give us a sense of the atmosphere. We know that all of the festivities, the performances concluded on Sunday. Just give us a bit of a wrap.
This year's Arts Festival, which was the 41st National Arts Festival, was indeed a success. Ticket sales were over 241, which was the highest, and also 6.9% increase from 2004. I think the greatest crowd pullers this year were definitely jazz and theatre, the presence of Thandi Somazwai, Beatenberg, Mikasa, and also celebration of Evita Besedenhout, one of the greatest crowd pullers this year. I think overall the success of the festival must be noted. And speaking to the management of the festival itself, they said that, you know what, this festival runs for 12 days a year, and therefore the socio-economic issues that are facing Grahamstown, such as water, electricity, unemployment, cannot be addressed in that specific 12 days. But in those 12 days, over 400 people were employed as freelancers and also contract work. So economically, hospitality, this festival is doing a lot to really boost the city of Grahamstown.
When I started this interview, we talked about there are some concerns that the festival is outgrowing the settler city. What is the buzz on that in Grahamstown?
There's been an ongoing debate that perhaps there should be a rotation of the festival. Eastern Cape is one of the most poorest provinces, and there are small towns that also do need the economic boost that Grahamstown has got over the past 41 years through the festival. But also, if you go into the town and you zoom into the challenges of the town, we spoke to one of the caregivers at one of the B&Bs, and she was saying that, you know what, throughout the whole year, literally Grahamstown is a ghost city, that unemployment is so ripe, that poverty is so ripe, that if the festival was to actually go away from Grahamstown, it will literally be a dead city. And she said the only time that the festival, the city does come alive is during the arts festival. So although there is an ongoing debate that perhaps it should go to other cities to boost these cities, but to take this festival, which throughout the 41 years is going from strength to strength, really doesn't really make any sense, and will actually take away one of the greatest gems of this town.
And I think in many quarters of South Africa, people would agree with you. Let's quickly also just reflect back on the performances. I know it's your first time covering the festival for SABC. Give us a sense from a novice perspective, some of the productions that jumped out at you and that you'd like to share with the rest of South Africa.
One of the outstanding features of this year was that the theme for this year's festival was satire and comedy. And one of the greatest satirist who was honored for his contribution to performing arts, Evita Besedenhout, his play called A Plate of Love was sold out in tickets. And I think that was one of the shows that really stood out. And as I said earlier on, until I think national artists such as Thandi Somazwai, Mikasa, Beatenberg were also outstanding. But this year, what the organizers are saying, that they are seeing more people buy tickets and attend shows as opposed to just coming in and going to the stalls. So I think that if Evita Besedenhout, looking back now, and especially his play, and also honoring him as a contribution to arts, was one of the outstanding features of this year's National Arts Festival.
What do the festival organizers attribute the rise in sales to? We talked about the quality of the productions increasing. What's the word on the ground from the festival organizers? Why do they think it's so much better this year?
I think the main focus this year was to give young artists a platform to showcase the diversity of arts and culture in the Eastern Cape region. And I think the platform that's being created is encouraging more and more people to go out and say, you know what, I've got a craft and I'm going to use this festival showcase. So I think speaking to the artistic director, Ishmael, he's saying that more and more artists, also from international artists, are coming in and saying, you know what, we see this as a platform to showcase our art as well, and that's how big the festival has been. You understand this festival is the second biggest in the country and the fifth biggest in the world. So I think the platform is created in the 41 years is made it a draw card. Also that diversity as well. We saw things from traditional dance to art to jazz to theatre. Anything that you can think of in regards to arts was showcased. So the wide range of artistic creativity at the National Arts Festival continues to be a drive. And then also I think bringing in people like Evita, who have been in this game for such a long time, became such a draw card this year. And then when you bring people like Thandi Somazwai, Mikasa, who are such such big artists and have maintained the momentum throughout arts, you have to have a winning card then.
I think one of the other things that people also talk about often with festivals that have been around for this long is issues around innovation, making sure, I mean, it doesn't suffer from the numbers from a ticket sales perspective in terms of attendance, but what are some of the innovations that you might have observed during the 12-day festival?
What I really loved about this year is that beyond just the National Arts Festival, they went into the location and tried to find young artists that they believe have got talent and then gave them a platform to showcase that. When we were there in Grahamstown, they spoke about the East and the West. And if you go into the location, particularly in Joza, you find people saying that, you know what, I was just a drummer until someone came and said, you know what, come and showcase your arts. So I think when it gets to creativity, as opposed to just going getting national artists like Nathandi Somazwai Mukasa, this year they actually went and started a program which goes into the location and finds the talent at a grassroots level and then says, you know what, here's a platform, showcase it. And just like many other artists like John Kani and Athol Fugard, who got their big break from the National Arts Festival, that was the focus this year as well.
We talk about the youth, you talked about travelling into townships to pick up some of the local artists, but there's also something that you mentioned in the beginning of this conversation, saying that the festival at its height in the 12 days has in terms of its economic contribution is staggering. We're talking millions and millions of rands that's flowing through the city of Grahamstown. But for the rest of the year, it's a bit of a ghost town. Any talks on how to make sure that maybe tourists can latch on to the magic of Grahamstown other than just festival time?
Yeah, speaking to Tony Lancaster, who is the CEO of the National Arts Festival, he defined for me, I think put for me into perspective as well, that this festival is literally running for 12 days and it literally becomes impossible to really deal with the core issues that are facing Grahamstown. But in those 12 days, they do what they can to create jobs for those that have nothing and especially benefit the hospitality industry. But there are talks that there are going to be certain programs running throughout the year. When we're speaking to the MEC of National Arts and Culture, Pemi Majuni, said that they are going to start now having programs that try and enhance art. Not only that, but give these people skills so it make them employable after the festival is done.
Lerato Thipa, thank you very much for joining us from PE, talking to us, of course, about the Grahamstown Arts Festival that concluded this Sunday. And it was been described as 12 days of amazing. We take an ad break. You don't go anywhere.